Hello and welcome to another episode of the Make It Epic Wedding Podcast. Mate, how are ya?
Good, mate. How are you? What is going on? What is happening?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been great. It's actually been great. I've actually had this week off for weddings, so been able to get stuck right into my editing. So I'm feeling quite confident. I'm feeling good that I'm getting some stuff done.
That's good. That's what we like to hear. I have not had the week off, but I've been smashing out the editing at the moment, which is ideal. I like it. I like it when I get to tick off the little list on my desk in front of me here that, like, you know, that I've finished a wedding, and it's like, it's always exciting times. Yeah. Classic hits. I love it.
100%. I sent out a wedding this week, and like I'm just like eagerly waiting for the couple to get back to me, like tell me what they think. Like every hour, I'm like, ooh, I'm sure they've watched it by now. Are they going to contact me?
Isn't it the worst when people don't reply to you after you've sent back the gallery or, like, you know, all the like the full thing, and you're like, come on, tell me what you think. I want to know.
Yeah, I think it's every creative, right? Like we love, especially if you've got a passion for this. Like I know, like you and I, we froth over this work, and we love creating memories. But even more than that, we love to get some feedback on how we went. Like I don't know, for me, I love any type of feedback. But more so, like I love the impact that my films can provide a couple.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why we're doing it, right? Like, it's not just because we're doing it just to kind of make some dollars and go, oh yeah, sweet, that'll do. You know, like at the end of the day, there is a reason and there is a passion there, and we are pretty keen to hear from you guys. So if you know, maybe if you have never reached out to us, if we've done a wedding for you, and you've listened to this, who knows, maybe you are. You know, maybe send us some love.
Yeah. So Rebecca and Max, if you listen to this, get back to me now.
Hurry up. Classic. So I reckon today is you know, let's just dive straight in, because I reckon today is a pretty damn good topic, because like every meeting that we ever have with couples, this topic comes up quite often, you know, and everyone is pretty keen for this part of the day because you know, like the ceremony's finished, the reception's coming up, and we're talking about like that in-between section that everyone is always excited for, but sometimes never gets to.
Yeah, and it's something, I suppose in the last 12 months, like I've really been trying to push for this as well, like, and just to slow things down, like slow the wedding day down, slow your day down, because like what do most couples do when they say, what do most couples say about their wedding after the fact, right? Like
everyone's talking about it, hey?
Yeah, but like
everyone's talking about it.
It goes way too quick. Like it's just, the day goes that fast, like you didn't get enough time to talk to people. Like, and like we're big believers, and like we're big advocates for making sure like you do the things that you want to do on your wedding day, and one of those is stressing less, like having more time in your day to do the things that you want to do, right? But
100%.
Specifically for today, we're talking about canapé hour, cocktail hour, whatever you want to call it.
100%, yeah. And we're going to make sure that we try and give you guys, like, I guess 3 reasons to prioritize that hour, because, and whether it's an hour, maybe it's longer, you know, every wedding's different. I don't know why we call it hour, but anyway, let's keep rolling with that. And, you know, so yeah, 3 reasons why to prioritize that hour, you know, because it is an important part of the day, and I would say not everyone gets to enjoy it. And when I mean not everybody, like you as the couple tend to not be able to enjoy this, but it doesn't have to be the case.
That's right. Like your wedding guests are looking forward to canapé hour. I know as a vendor, I'm looking forward to canapé hour. I love a sneaker canapé.
Old Mothy over here looking like a seagull running around trying to find the girls walking around with the plates of food.
Oh, man, if there's arancini balls, like I'm like, oh, let me get a video of that. Like, smoke.
Come to Papa. So true. Bro.
I love it when you're like, Tim, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go set up a time lapse like near the near the grazing platter.
Right on top of it, and I'm just going to make sure that no one eats those arancini balls that I really want. But it is like, I suppose, like, you know, all like it is a time which, you know, like me and Tim, like we enjoy it not only for the food, but you know, there's a lot of reasons why, and hopefully today will help you understand why it's important to get there, and not only why it's important to get there, but maybe at the end, a little bit of a like keep you guys interested in this whole podcast is that like we're going to talk about how you can get there, and you know that it is achievable to be able to make cocktail hour, you know, because some people don't think that that's something they can do, but let me tell you, it is possible. It just takes a little bit of thought.
For sure.
Hint.
For sure. So today we're chatting about 3 reasons why you need to prioritize canapes / cocktail hour, and the bonus tip, the bonus golden nugget is how to do it. So, mate, I reckon that's an absolute cracker.
Yeah, and I'm excited because it is going to be lit today, and I'm excited already. So let's dive in, because I feel like, you know, like at the end of the day, like everybody wants to come to a wedding and they want to have fun, right? So number one for us is like, you know, if you're coming to cocktail hour and you're the couple, you know, you want to enjoy that time with your guests. You want to start that party. You want to start those high vibes. And you know what? You've walked down the aisle. You've said, like, you know, your I do's. You've had your kiss. You've had that big celebration. The last thing you want to do is run away and not go and enjoy that, like, period where everybody is, like, high and excited, and there's like the woo girls are going and the beers are flowing, and you know, it's a good time with like a lot of energy, and you don't want to miss out on that energy.
For sure. And of course, like the obvious question is like, well, what about like photos and videos? Like, what about like the portrait time, like with the couple, with the bridal party? Like, what happens to that?
100%. And you know, it is doable and you will still get it all done. As I said, it's kind of one of those things where you just need to have a bit of thought process around it, you know, and we'll talk about this sort of timing stuff as, I guess, this podcast progresses.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, like, keeping in mind that it is all about the timing, and you know, like a rush wedding is a stress wedding, and we definitely do not want that. We want to make sure that, you know, your wedding is stress free. No one wants a stress wedding. But mate, so as a couple comes down the aisle, they do the congratulations. Obviously, like, spend a little bit of time doing that before going into family photos. We then may jump into some portrait time, like depending on the light, or canapes start ASAP. It's, yeah, completely depends, right?
Yeah, there's heaps of flexibility around it, and that's what I think you need, like, you know, everyone needs to continue to remember, is that like we always say on this, and we probably said it twice today, like, the day is your day and you can do it however the hell you want to do it, so to speak, you know? So if that, you know, if that means that these things that we're talking about today are a priority to you, like, let's just make sure that that's, like, known to us or to your vendors, so that we're making sure you're getting there, you know? Because, like, for me and Tim especially, like, we love that cocktail hour, not only for food and for that, you know, goodness of everyone hanging out with each other, but specifically like the content that as your like creatives can capture in that moment too, right? Like, I know you get excited by it because everyone is having a good time and everyone's talking, and we all talk about like these candid moments that we want to capture. There's not much more candid moment, like, I guess, time slots than the cocktail hour specifically, because everyone is excited. There's drinks flowing, there's food happening, there's a lot going on.
For sure. So one thing, I suppose, like, whenever I, like, couple books me, like, we always like have a chat, and there's always one question that I'll ask them, and it's like, what suits you more, like, as a drop down menu? Like, do you want to spend as much time as possible getting photos and videos, or do you want to, you know, get photos and videos but still get back to your guests and you're still mindful of the time? And most people are like, we're still mindful of the time. Like, obviously we want to get like amazing photos and videos, but we still want to join our guests. Like, and we want an essence of the day captured. We want like that vibe of the day captured. And like, for me, like, I relate to that. Like, that's important for me as well. So like, I like to prioritize like getting those moments, and it makes up a large like portion of my film as well. Like, that B-roll is like an A-roll is like phenomenal. I use it so much, like in different formats. Like, capture Nan, have a chat with like Nan, mum, dad, pop, brothers, try and get some dirt on the couple that we can use a little bit later on, like setting up some time lapses, but allowing us to capture those candid moments really gives us the ability to capture the day. Like, it gives us the ability to capture the vibe, the essence, your family, your friends, and all the people that are important. And more than that, like, you're not thinking about us capturing you. Like, we're doing this while you're interacting and having fun, and that's the best part.
Yeah, definitely gets those candid moments down pat. And I was even thinking just then, like the other like positive to all of this as well is like, yes, it's not like we're not capturing candid moments throughout the reception, but this is typically in natural light. It's typically in a little bit nicer light than in a reception venue at times. You're not sitting around a table. Everyone is like standing up. They're in groups. They're hanging out with each other. It's just a little bit more natural, and it's a like, I'm a big fan of that moment because there always is probably like for me. There's a lot of moments that you kind of are capturing through that you may not get later on. And it does take, or this kind of runs into the next one, but it does take a bit of pressure off, I guess, us as creatives a little bit too, in terms of capturing these candid moments earlier on in the day. And then the reception is kind of just there for reception things.
Yeah, for sure. And like for us, yeah, it's great. But also like for you, like as a couple, like it allows you to just slow down and enjoy that moment. Have a couple drinks, have some food, like join the entertainment. I don't know, maybe there's like you got a band playing, maybe there's like a DJ like absolutely laying down some sick tracks, like I don't know, whatever your entertainment is, but you get to enjoy that.
100%. And that definitely rolls into number 2, which for us is room to breathe. So room to breathe really is just that, right? Like at the end of the day, like for me and Tim, we don't want to like go through just go through the motions of the entire day without giving you guys time and space to really enjoy what you have created over the past X amount of months. Some people it's 18 months, 2 years, some people it's 6 months, whatever that timing is, right? We don't want to feel like we're tapping you on the shoulder and going, hey, just letting you know, we need to hurry up and go and get family photos. We need to hurry up and go and get I don't know, maybe it's like portraits done. We need to like rush off as soon as possible. We'd much rather come up to you, tap you on the shoulder and go, hey guys, just letting you know, we have half an hour for you guys to really enjoy this time that you're in right now. Enjoy hanging out with your family and friends. Enjoy the music. Take a big deep breath and just enjoy this moment.
100%. Like how good is that? Like as a couple, like if you're listening to that and you're thinking, well, hang on, like I've been to some weddings before, and like I've been at like canapes and like the cocktail hour, but we don't see the couple until they get to reception. Like what's the go with that? And then everything's just so rushed.
Definitely. Actually, fun fact, I had a chat with a couple that will hopefully book actually me and you. But I had a chat with them the other day, and the bride actually works for a caterer. And she literally said those same words to me. She was like, you know what's crazy is like, she's like, the amount of times that I'm like going around serving food, she's like, I see a couple maybe like at the ceremony, obviously, they walk down the aisle, and she's like, I won't see them until they're entering the reception again. And she goes, for me, that's just crazy because there's so much that's happening in that period between ceremony and reception. Yes, there's obviously it's important to get your family photos and like get photos with each other, but there's still a lot of time there typically. And like, it just seems wild to me that if you have a 3 o'clock ceremony, why am I not seeing these couple again until 6 o'clock? And so, like, it is a very common question that, we talk about and we have been asked. And I guess that's just a bit of a, I guess not just coming from me and Tim, but that's like literally something that was, I guess, conveyed to me yesterday in a meeting. So, yeah, like it's definitely something that is important to a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it comes back to like, as a couple, like what are your negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Like if you wanted to go off site because there's perhaps like a, you want to go to the beach.
Option?
Yeah. You want to go to a mountain clearing. You want to go somewhere that has significant value to you and get photos there. Obviously, that's going to take a bit more time out of your day. Maybe you might not get to it, but it depends what's important to you, right? Like if that's something that you want as part of like your photos and your videos, then for sure, like this is why we ask the question, because we want to know what is important to you. We want to know like what are the things that are going to bring you joy on your day and make it happen, because that is the way that it's going to be memorable. That is the way that we can like elevate your day. We can elevate your experience, and you can have a day that is actually like symbolic with who you are as a couple.
100%. Definitely the way forward. And even thinking about that as well, like a part of this, maybe this is a little hot tip as well. Like obviously we've got to start thinking about all these like timing things and there's like these, I guess what's negotiable and non-negotiable to you from the start. But maybe even thinking about the venue that you pick, because not like obviously like and the way that your day is structured. If your ceremony and reception are in two different locations, yeah, again that may be a little bit difficult to get to canapé hour. But if the venue you're picking does have the option for ceremony and reception to be all in one spot, realistically, in my opinion personally, if your timing is correct, you can't really miss cocktail hour if you work it all out properly.
Yeah. So the significance of having like different locations in part of the day, it really does work against you, like in that regard, because there's so many contingencies that you need to put in place for it. So if having like a stress-free wedding, having like a wedding where you want to like enjoy that time and actually prioritize like canapé hour, like having a venue and where your ceremony and receptions in the same place is probably going to be like the main consideration here.
100%. Love it.
But something that we haven't spoken about is the moolah, the cash, the money.
That's it, 100%. And that's probably running into like number 3, right? Which is we've named FOMO, fear of missing out, because like there's a lot of things that are happening in this period which you have been planning for, and it is potentially like it does cost you money, right? Like it's not like this canapé hour is like just a part of the day and it just kind of like all runs into like the catering bill. Typically canapé hour and cocktail hour specifically is an additional cost, especially if you are getting proper cocktails made.
Entertainment, yeah, like these are all like considerations of potentially some expensive prices as well. And imagine paying for that and not enjoying it. Everyone's going to be talking about canapés, and you're going to be like, oh, like how was canapés?
Yeah, definitely. And I even find like it's nothing worse than like kind of listening to like the bridal party and the couples talking about how they really wish they could get a cocktail. Like if you've spent money on like making sure that you have this cocktail that you really want, let's just for instance, typically it's like an espresso martini or maybe it's a mug, like whatever that is. Like if you're really wanting that, like for me personally, I'd much rather you make sure you're getting to that cocktail hour, standing around talking to your friends and family and sipping on that slowly than getting it and bringing it to my portrait time, which like for me, it's kind of like you feel rushed, you're not really enjoying it. You're like sipping on it going, oh, this is really nice, and putting it down or, holding it in a photo. It's not as enjoyable as if you could actually be relaxing with your family and friends, sipping on it, enjoying it with everybody, because you're not having cocktails typically through the whole entire day. If you are, that's a different story, sure. But, most people are only having it for a certain portion.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I'll give a little insight. So my wife, who runs a caravan bar, like she talks to the couple, and it's about potentially, if you're having cocktails and they need to go through a process to figure out like what are their favorite cocktails, like, and what are their favorite drinks. But imagine like going through that but not actually receiving like what you're paying for. Like I think it actually is ludicrous. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, but like it's crazy, right? You're gonna spend this money, right? You've chosen your favorite cocktails, your favorite drinks, but you don't actually get to not only enjoy it, but you don't get to enjoy it with the people you care about, the people you love, the people that you've invited to celebrate your wedding day.
100%. And like, typically most people, most like vendors would keep that for you, like keep a cocktail for you if they, if they can and things like that. But it's not the same when not everyone else is having it at the same time, I don't think. And normally it's just one of those things that's like, oh yeah, we kept you a cocktail. Well, like, of course they probably should have, you paid for it, but it's not as enjoyable in that moment whenever you do get it, if that makes sense. So look, the FOMO is real. Definitely something that is, we think you should think about for sure. And, there's the money aspect, there's the entertainment aspect, there's just also like enjoying the food, as we said. There's a lot to it, but obviously these 3 things are pretty, like, for us, we feel like everybody understands it's pretty simple. But I feel like the hardest part about the cocktail hour is like, how do you actually get there? Because there is a lot that needs to happen between your ceremony finishing and the reception starting. We've touched on a few things of timing and things like that, but we just want to break it down for you now. Like, the best way that we think that you can actually get to cocktail hour.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, it's all good in us, like, saying, like, this is the reasons why you need to prioritize it. But How do you get there? And it's probably not something that you decide a month out from your wedding. You'd be like, oh no, I want to get there. But if you've only got an hour between potentially like your ceremony finishing and the reception, like it is going to be like quite difficult. Like these are things that you need to put in place. You need to plan ahead. You need to like understand and prioritize. Like if you want to get to cocktail hour, you still want to ensure that you have an amazing time, like doing your photos and videos and capturing those moments. Like we just need to think about it prior to. We need to think about this in conjunction as you are starting to plan your wedding.
Definitely. And I would even go to say you need to probably think about that before you've even locked in like your celebrant, or when you're locking in your celebrant, because typically most celebrants will say, hey, yeah, I'm free at this time. What time is your ceremony? And if you say your ceremony is at 3 o'clock, right, but your reception starts at 5, like, you know, it's going to be quite difficult to do things like everything that you need to do, because at the end of the day, like, let's just quickly break it down. Typically the traditional things that we would do between ceremony and reception. So ceremony's finished, you've said hello to people, you're going to do family photos, which can take a little bit of time depending on how big your family is. Yep. You then have bridal party portraits and portraits with you too as well. There's a lot that needs to happen. There's like 4 or 5 things that need to happen, which all take potentially a significant amount of time out of that cocktail hour. And so if you're getting these ceremony times wrong, you know, quote unquote wrong, you know, so to speak, you know, if they are in the, like, I guess the wrong position, it's going to make it really difficult to make cocktail hours. So if this is something that is important to you, please talk to your vendors and say, I want to get to cocktail hour. How do I get there?
Yeah, because don't you think it's crazy, right? Like we've got these like example timelines that have like been thrown around everywhere, but then they're not specific to you. Like they're not specific to potentially the time of the year. It's not specific to the season, like the where the lines are, how the sun's setting. Like it's not unique to you and your circumstances, your venue, like where the light. Perhaps you're getting married like somewhere potentially like Hunter Valley, right? Or even like some like Southern Highlands, South Coast, where, you know, we've got some mountains like behind us, and potentially, you know, the sun will set like a little bit like earlier than what it like is meant to be. So like these are things that we need to put in place, and an example run sheet, an example timesheet that you're getting off somewhere or something that's not specific to you is not going to serve you.
And it also doesn't take into account your priorities. You know, like we're always talking about these things, you know, like if you're like, again, like for me, like even my example timelines are examples for that reason, that it doesn't like have every single detail or every single thing that is important to you in there. Like, yes, I have a bit of a buffer zone, and yes, I have that incorporated into my example timeline, but it doesn't say these 2 people really want to get to canapé hour for half an hour, for 45 minutes, for 15 minutes, whatever it is. Like, that's not built into my timelines. And maybe it is something that I need to do because most people are doing it these days, and like, you know, it really does make your wedding day so much more enjoyable. So for me personally, like, you know, my little bonus tip for this is like, 1, get your ceremony time correct, and maybe that means giving yourself a buffer, you know, giving yourself 30 minutes additional of just breathing room, nothing planned whatsoever, and that's incorporated into your afternoon, so that you know, even if things do go out of sync a little bit in timing, there is still going to be ample amount of time for you to get to that cocktail hour and to actually enjoy some food and to enjoy a cocktail.
For sure.
And my other top tip as well, as a photographer, I've got one more, sorry to cut you off, Tim, but is, you know, it's talking about the family photo aspect too, and ensuring that you have a very specific list of people you want in those family photos. It might not be immediate family, it might be some friends too, and that's okay, but having a list built around who you want in those family photos, and then also having someone help you lasso them all into those photos, because it can drag on quite a lot. So if you do have people helping you, delegation is your best friend when it comes to this time. And if you're smashing out family photos nice and quickly, it's really going to give you more time to enjoy that canapé cocktail hour.
Yeah. So I was actually going to touch on it. So I was going to be like, well, let's actually break this down. So starting family photos, if you've only got a few, then sweet. But family photos is something that can take 10 minutes or it can take 45 minutes if you allow it to. So the points you touched on there were absolutely perfect. So, and then this is usually a time for me as a videographer to go set up reception, get some reception stuff, because it's a little bit stiff videoing family photos and someone yelling like, "Uncle Bob, here now!"
Yeah, legit, and it's frustrating. It's a frustrating time too, I find, if you like are having to like yell at people to come back in. So, you know, like as a couple there, you know, like you don't want to be the one yelling. So that's why I guess I was giving that little hint and tip towards having like someone there to help you, and be delegating that role to somebody else is vital, because it just helps everything runs smoothly. I'm not really going to be helping you yell at people at that time, because I'm more concentrating on who is in front of me as a photographer. So yeah, having a little helping hand never goes astray. To be honest, the quicker you can pump through these family photos, the more enjoyable it is for everybody involved, because like 90% of the time, you don't want to stand there for ages. You want to go and enjoy canapes, and you want to get there. And if that roadblock is family photos, like, let's make it not a roadblock, and let's just take it into account into the whole timing of the day.
Well, there's been situations after family photos when, you know, maybe the light's a bit harsh, and we're like, well, actually, like, do you guys want to enjoy some canapes now? Like, let's let the light kind of soften a little bit, and then we'll do a bridal party and like couple portraits after that.
So typically, like, we haven't even like really organized for you guys to maybe even like make sure you're getting to canapes. But if you have allowed time in your timeline to be actually get there and to have a bit of breathing room and things like that, like I guess in the whole afternoon, you know, we might not have like said, hey, specifically you're going to go and be able to hang out with your friends. Then we might have just thought we needed that time for portraits. But if, you know, if we actually do end up having the time, like, that's such a bonus for you guys. So maybe just going back to that breathing room and allowing a bit of space in your in that time as well is a perfect thing to have.
100%. Allows for improvisation as well. Like, obviously we want to like stick to the run sheet. The run sheet is like more of like that guide throughout the day. But having those options like allows us and you to have the freedom to be actually make decisions on the day that serve you. Like, we could get better photos and videos like in better light, but we can only make those decisions because we've planned for it. And that's a big thing. So hey, let's wrap it up here.
I was like, where's he going? Where's he going with this? I didn't really know. I'm ready to wrap it up too, but I was like, Tim just gives us this like awkward silence and looked at me like I'd done something wrong. Anyway, I definitely think like at the end of the day, like for what we've spoken about today is a massive topic, and it is something that everybody is really keen on taking into account and keen on adding into their day. Some people just don't know the means about going about how to create this time and how to create this space to be able to actually enjoy a cocktail hour.
But
and you know,
yeah, I suppose, sorry, cutting in there, mate. Hopefully we've planted that seed in your head to actually think about this, and you know, like,
definitely
have a chat to us. Like, regardless who your vendors are, like, come have a chat to us, like, and tell us, like where can we like help you with that? Is what I'm trying to say. Is like, how can we like help elevate your wedding experience? And hopefully that seed has been planted, and you're like, oh, actually, I think I might want to take this time to actually enjoy canapes because I've paid for it. There's like awesome entertainment. I actually want to get fed. Maybe you've got your favorite espresso martini and you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to have it like sitting like in your, you know, just before you enter the reception that's warm.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to miss out on these moments that you have been thinking about and creating for X amount of time in the lead up to your wedding. You want to enjoy that time with your family and friends, and you don't want to be rushed. And I think that's ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to, like, convey to you guys, is that we don't want you to be rushed, and you don't want to be rushed either. So think about the timing of your ceremony, because that really impacts the entire day for you, and it really impacts how you can make sure that you get to cocktail hour, or how you may miss out on cocktail hour altogether. But it's a big one. We hope you took that all in. We hope we made sense, and we hope we really planted that seed, as Tim said. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening. And as always, we would love to hear from you. So please reach out to us. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. Please leave us a little review on Spotify or wherever you're listening to, Apple. We love to hear from people. We actually got one this week.
I was going to say, we got one today. Maybe that's why I'm in such a good mood. I'm freaking pumped, man.
I'm excited too. I feel like, you know, we are at the moment really reaching people, and we are loving it. And everyone seems to be really enjoying the chats we're having, which is awesome, and it keeps us high and excited about what we are doing. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Make It Epic Wedding podcast, and until next week, we will speak to you all then.
See you on the next one. Bye.